Mr. Smitherman, George Marcello. How are you?
Again, George.
Good to see you again.
How are you doing, my friend?
Pretty good. My sister's actually the official greeter.
Hi, how are you?
Catherine Grecki.
Nice to see you.
So, Mr. Smitherman, we're going to do the photo op by that light. The other two candidates are here.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
And so just a good spirited shot with all three people holding the torch of life. So I'm just going to get Mr. Ford and Mr. Pantalone. Where's Mr. Pantalone? We're ready to do it. Mr. Ford, we're ready to do the shot. And we're all going to go. We're all going to go this way, actually. Okay. So if you can follow me.
He's there.
Yeah, he's coming.
He's hiding.
He's hiding in the back there.
Well, I'll watch your back, CTV.
Watch.
I got him. I'm used to this on the road. Okay. Right here is going to be the shot.
Okay.
Now I'm going to ask the others to do this too while everybody's holding the torch. If we can, all three of you guys yell out, we support organ and tissue donations. We support organ and tissue donations with all three candidates holding. Okay, Ron, you can bring the torch here.
We support organ and tissue donations.
Yeah, well, I'll give you the cue. And that's the famous Torch of Life that was blessed by Pope John Paul II almost 10 years ago. And it's presently going around the world. It's being carried by children to inspire people throughout 200 countries to become organ and tissue donors. This is a very unique opportunity to have all three candidates for my favorite city, Toronto. So please pass the torch, Ron.
We're all going to hold it, right?
Yep, all going to hold it together for a nice shot here. And can you all please say, we support organ and tissue donations?
We support organ and tissue donations.
That was great. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
We might not be on cue for the rest of the night. Thanks for bringing us together, George.
No problem. That's my job.
Okay, I'll go find my cup. It gets burned.
So is Tony Marcello a relative of yours?
Yeah.
I want to begin by thanking George as well for your work to create this powerful symbol, the Torch of Life. It's gained a lot of attention, it's traveled to hundreds of communities, it's even been blessed by the Pope. But as with any journey, it started with a single step, and you, George Marcello, were the person with the hope and determination to take it. You yourself received the gift of an organ donation, the gift of life. And your efforts since have given more people the second chance at life that you cherish each and every day. And so it really is a privilege for me to have held the torch of life in my hands beside Venice here a moment ago. I never actually got to hold that thing.
Actually, we're going to pass it to you right now. Never mind.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Premier. We know how busy you are and how dedicated you are to the citizens of Ontario. Thank you for your time.
I want to show all the media too.
Look like you're burning your I've been burned many a time.
It's okay.
Okay, that's what we're here for. It's a treasured message that you're all helping to deliver to Ontario. Thank you so much. George, our next speaker is Mr. Frank, please.
On an important issue like this. It's not a matter of partisan politics, it's a matter of doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do to save lives. So again, on behalf of all of us in the province of Ontario, I thank George Marcello for his leadership. I want to thank Venice for carrying the torch here and for the many young people who will be carrying the torch across this country for such an important issue. it really is up to this next generation to make all the difference for saving lives. Thank you so much.
Let's be blunt about this. When I die, I got a few things that are going to be left around. I got a 94 Chev pickup and a whole bunch of organs. I got no use for any of them. You want them, you come and get them. I've been very clear about the fact that we've got to become radical about organ donation. The fact that there's one person on a waiting list, never mind 2,000 in this province on an annual basis, simply isn't acceptable. And every day, good organs are being burned and buried. That's just not right. I say to you that I will continue to work with my colleagues, and I've been proud to be able to support the efforts of Frank Cleese and Liberal members who have presented similar legislation in an effort to enhance the availability of organs for people who need them. And I'm going to continue to fight along with so many others across this province to try to dramatically change the culture in Ontario so that organ donation isn't the exception, it is the norm. So that organ donation, rather than something that's regarded as rare, it would be the denial of an organ that would be regarded as rare or exceptional. I believe Ontarians are prepared to commit themselves to that proposition. So thank you, George Marcello. You have been a hero of so many people in this province and across this country. I've been with you in so many places in Ontario for so many years, for so long. You are a tenacious, fearless, admirable, laudable hero of people waiting for organs and people who have received them. And I tell you that you are a truly great Canadian, and I'm proud, always have been, and look forward to continuing to be proud to work with you in this great cause. Thank you, friends. Let's look forward to ending those waiting lists.
Thank you so much, Peter Fromos. And now I'd like to introduce our representative.
Now you're going to introduce yourselves to these gentlemen? Yeah.
And I'm Nicole Farrell.
Yeah.
Right, so we are.
We pass on the torch to you.
Thank you very much.
If all three gentlemen can hold the torch, hold it up high behind Parliament Hill so we can show how all parties can come together on a very important issue. This should be sent throughout Canada because this is an important issue, and what you gentlemen are doing right now is going to help save over 4,000 people across Canada. Yep, please. Just if you guys can bend down, that's it. That is perfect.
It's not the first time that the three of us joined together.
It's not the first?
It's not the last, yeah.
Okay, well, let's keep it up then.
Actually, when there was a file being debated today, City Hall, where we made it united. Although we took 10 minutes away on it. How much
Nicole, the court.
You're doing it.
If it doesn't have double flash?
Yeah, hold it halfway, then it will flash. Somebody should hold it.
Aussi éternel que l'amour qui a motivé ce geste. Donc sensibiliser les proches, les donateurs.
It's good to have all three parties unite on one thing. Thank you.
Bravo, step by step. Congratulations. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Josie, do you have a few words?
C'est important de signer pour en parler à sa famille comme le dit
What are you doing? What are you doing today? You're passing the torch to
And the Torch of Life kicks off today in Wasilla. It's a 2-year campaign where students will pass the torch from Alaska all the way to Argentina to raise awareness about how you can save a life.
Life makes its way through Buffalo today as part of its tour through 36 countries promoting organ and tissue donation. More than 100,000 Americans right now are waiting for an organ transplant. Today, Toronto police officers passed the torch to Buffalo police officers at the Peace.
Walk for a good cause crossed the border into Buffalo. Toronto police officers passed the Torch of Life to their Queen City counterparts at the Peace Bridge. Students ran from Alaska through Canada to promote the cause of organ donation, and now that run continues through the U.S. and points to the South.
Every hour somebody's passing away because these organs aren't arriving. There's over 100,000 Americans that are waiting. We can change this.
Now that torch run will continue through 160 U.S. cities over the next several months.
The extra mile for a good cause, the push to think about organ donation today to save a life down the road.
Fox 61 and The Current bringing you more local coverage. Now, the news at 10.
Sobering statistics now about organ donation.
2006 numbers show more than 100,000 Americans are waiting for an organ transplant. Every year, 6,000 people die waiting.
Well, the Connecticut DMV has been keeping track of donors since 1995.
Since then, the good news is the numbers have been steadily rising. Then, more than 329,000 were listed on their driver's license as an organ donor. In 2008, that number was up to more than 936,000.
And today, on the steps of the state capitol, some school kids provided the spark to help relay a message. More donors are needed.
The Torch of Life made its way through Hartford today in hopes of raising awareness for organ donations. Fox 61's Jim Altman shows us how it works.
There's more than one torch getting attention this week. These 8th graders from St. Augustine's in Hartford are fired up for the cause at the Capitol, what's called the Torch of Life.
We're telling people that it's good to donate to those who need the organs.
Torch of Life is our symbol to shine the light on the need for organ and tissue donation.
Liver donor recipient and campaign founder George Marcello is traveling the country in the Truck of Life and recruiting school kids everywhere he goes.
Donate your organs, let's go!
The torch itself shines for lots of reasons.
Pope John Paul II blessed that torch 9 years ago, and he proclaimed that organ and tissue donation was a genuine act of love. And he encouraged me to pass the torch to the students.
This is a 2-year campaign which started in October. Already they've hit 75 cities, and the truck back here has already logged 20,000 miles.
We're actually going through 160 cities in the U.S., and we're going to be arriving in San Diego on April 28, 2011.
And they say it's the steps they take here that will help down the road.
We've got 105,000 people in the United States waiting for an organ transplant, life-saving organ transplant. And in Connecticut alone, we've got about 1,100 people. Why not give the gift of life?
We don't need millions of dollars to go in the laboratory to find a cure. The cure is in us. Sign your organ donor cards, everybody in Connecticut.
In Hartford, Jim Altman, Fox 61 News.
After its tour of the U.S., the Torch will Argentina. To find out more about the Torch of Life, head to our website, ctnow.com.
To donate. The two of us go around the world talking about organ donation, but we've never
transplant recipient Helen Campbell was at it again today, raising awareness about organ donation with her usual charm and flair. Cynthia Mulligan with how Campbell helped to carry the torch of life on the final leg of its cross-province journey. Cynthia.
Well, Roger, 3 different people joined together to raise awareness about organ donation today. Each has been touched by the issue. Helen Campbell, who recently received a double lung transplant, a woman who desperately is waiting for one, and a young man whose family made the decision to give the gift of life. Khaled Khatib has walked for 110 days, carrying the torch of life through 71 cities and towns in Ontario, all to promote organ donation. His family, who is Palestinian, gave the gift of life after his brother was accidentally killed by an Israeli soldier.
My family donate organs. Ahmad, his name Ahmad, for 5 Israeli children.
This day is full of so many triumphs of the human spirit. When Khaled started his torch journey, he told Helen Campbell that he was carrying it for her and she wasn't going to need oxygen tanks when he finished. He was right.
Here I am. I can put it near my face. Not too close. With oxygen, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Helen Campbell was on oxygen and running out of time when she received a double lung transplant in April. She captured the world's attention with her spunk and quest to raise awareness about organ donation.
And this is the torch of life, representing people like me and people in the future.
Organ donation has gone up across the country, in fact, due to her efforts and the efforts of others. She's leading the way.
And then she led the way again, carrying the torch to Queen's Park, breathing with her precious new lungs. How are you feeling, Helen?
Good.
The tireless 21-year-old advocate is a symbol of hope for others, like Nancy Savalaggio, who is waiting for her own double lung and liver transplant miracle.
You want to hold it with me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's.
How can you not feel the energy and just hope for everybody else to get their organs?
But not everyone gets their organ donation in time. Someone dies roughly every 3 days in this province, waiting for a transplant. How quickly do you need it done? At this very moment, there are 1,518 people in Ontario waiting for a donor to give them a second chance at life. It's easy to register. Just go to beadonor.ca. You can find that link on our website, citynews.ca, as well.
Organ donations and how they're affecting peace.
Helen Campbell has become the face of organ donation in Canada, but the young man handing her the torch has a touching story of his own. His name is Khaled Khatib. When his 11-year-old brother Ahmed was killed by an Israeli soldier, his organs were donated and helped save the lives of 5 Israeli children. And then there's Marsha Gladstone. Her 19-year-old son Yanni was killed by a suicide bomber in Israel, and his kidney was donated to a young Palestinian girl. Both Marsha and Khaled took part in the Torch of Life walk across Ontario, raising awareness of the need for organs. Both of them join us in studio now. Thank you so much for telling your story and sharing it with us. What was that moment like, passing the torch for you?
It was so emotional. Actually, my daughter took the torch from Khaled, and it was like the merging of 2 different continents, really, because we come from opposite sides of a divide. But the truth is that when it comes to ordinary people, there really is no divide. And that's what just hit me, you know, at that time, that it was just all about people.
What did it mean to you, Khaled, when your brother, as horrible as it was to lose Ahmed, but helped save the lives of Israeli children?
It's mean for me, it's too much, because my family, it saved 5 children, 5 lives. And when I am here in Canada, because I want to tell my story, and I am meeting George Marcello, his Torch of Life, and I am take the torch with him, and I walk across Ontario for organs and tissue donation. And I want to tell for everybody what's the organs and tissue donation. And I'm carrying the torch for Helen Campbell, and March 2nd I'm starting Kenora, up north, yeah. And I am finished yesterday, June 19th in Queen's Park. and I need to carry the torch for everybody, for the children. His need lung, his need the kidney, his need
It's organ donation and tissue donation, as you say, but it's also the bridging of two regions that have been in such dire straits for people not ever getting along, people wondering how this is ever going to happen. Tell me about Yanni and his desire.
Yanni was a very special young man. In his young life, he did so much. He was very communally minded, and he, in his heart, had a great feeling of responsibility for the community, and he was always helping. He even worked, he was the youngest volunteer ever on our Glasgow Jewish Burial Society, which was just unheard of, a boy of 17, 18 doing that kind of thing. He was the head of our youth club, and he would help in the synagogue, and although he was the youngest of my 4 older children, he was the one who made the older ones go to synagogue every Saturday, and he was the one who made them promise they would go and visit their older grandpa afterwards. There was just something about him, although he was zany and crazy, and he had, really this really well-rounded personality, and he had friends who were, of course, Jewish friends, but Christian friends, Muslim friends from school. Everybody was part of his world, and so it just felt so right to us. But to be very truthful, the first moment that we heard that Yanni's kidney had been donated to a Palestinian girl when he'd just been murdered by a Palestinian terrorist, it was one of those moments that you just never forget. And we heard on the phone. We didn't hear through the hospital. We heard on the phone through an interview from the media. And so in those 5 seconds, I felt my heart drop through the floor. And then, suddenly everything came together, and I realized, they were right not to tell us, really, because what's it all about? I mean, if the transplant team are really doing the right thing is a life is the most important thing. It doesn't matter whose life. And like in the space of 5 seconds, that went right through me. And then I said, we feel good about that. That's good. A life is a life. It doesn't matter whose.
Saving lives.
That's it. That's really the most important thing, isn't it? To save the lives. That's why he's here, and that's why I'm here.
Kelly, it's so great for you to come and tell your story and speak about Ahmed. Inspirational. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Coming up in a little bit on Canada AM.
Well, it's not